Okay guys, I'm out here working on a 2020 Teryx LE. It's an 800, a 2020 model, and I'm getting ready to do some service. First, I'm going to change the oil today, so let me get under this seat and show you this. Now, you've got a couple of switches here. This first one here is actually for moving the seat up and back, so don't confuse that. What you need to do is remove the seat. So reach up under, there is another clip here. And this is it, and it's just on a spring loaded, and you pull that off, and then you can lift this seat out of the place and then move your seat. Then you'll have a flap here that you'll take this flap loose, and then you'll be able to get to your oil dipstick. Now, while I'm here, checking the oil on this does require you to actually screw this all the way in and back out, and ideally you want that oil to be on the upper end of the hashes there. So oil looks clean, but I'm going to change it here. It's got 230 something miles on it, and it calls for service at 120. I'm not quite sure that they've done the service. I'm going to go ahead and do it again to be sure. But that gets me the dipstick now. I've opened that. So now we're going to take a 10 millimeter and go underneath. We're going to remove a plate so we can start accessing the oil filter and stuff. So stand by. Okay, now I am under the Teryx here, and you can see using a 10 millimeter I'm going to remove this plate. There are 4 screws here, or bolts, 2 on this side, 2 on that side. Once I remove that, it's going to give me access in to get to the oil filter. And I'm going to come right back behind here, and I'm going to find that oil plug here. So I'll come back with a video of it here too. All right, now I have removed that cover, and you can see that oil filter. And if you get under here and you see here's about the center point of that, if you come straight back, there's your drain bolt here. So I'm going to take a 17, and I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to put a new crush washer on here. I keep a bag of them. I'm going to get me a pan and catch this oil. I'm going to remove that filter, catch oil. Remember, we moved the dipstick up top, and I'm going to let the oil drain out, and then we'll be ready to replace it. And we'll put this cover back on. All right, now I want you to look at this. I've had to crush that, because again, this has been over tightened. So this is way too tight. I broke it loose and all, but do not over tighten those oil filters. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this off now and move back here and drain this oil. All right, now when you take that oil plug out, make sure that crush washer hasn't stuck up there and you forget it. Make sure it comes out too, because when I took this one off, this stayed. So make sure that you remove it. Now I've got a new one here. I just bought a whole bag of these. These Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, all these Japanese brands use interchangeable parts. So I'm gonna put my new crush washer on there and be ready to go with it. So I'm taking the oil out. Now let me show you where we're at here. All right, so now I've removed that filter, and you can see the oil is draining. Right behind that filter location is a 17 millimeter, and there is a filter removed. So I'll douse a little oil in the filter, and I'll grease that filter O-ring, and I'll put a new filter in, and after this drains, I'll cap it off, and I'll throw 4 quarts of oil in here. The bike calls for 4.2 with a filter change, 3.8 without a filter change. I'll throw 4 in because there's usually a little left in the engine that'll count for that. Now the oil looked pretty clean actually, but again, just as a precaution, I'm going ahead changing it. And there's that plate. And you can look under this bike here and see it's clean. This bike's practically new and all. So, all right, so more to come. I'm gonna close that up when it finishes and we'll move from there. Okay, now here's your Kawasaki oil, SAE 10W40. It tells you the manufacturer specifications, SN JSO MA2. Now, just for those that need to know, here is the filter. There's the number. It's a Denso filter. Cross-reference on this at Walmart is the Fram PH6017A, but this is the original Denso that's used. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in here. I'm going to oil this O-ring here, and I'm going to go ahead and install that. But that's the oil that I'm using. I've got 4 quarts of this and the filter. All right, stand by. All right, here we go. Post. There's the new filter in, and I put the new plug back in here, 17 millimeter with a new crush washer. Now I'm just going to close the panel up, go upstairs, and put 4 quarts of oil in. All right, I'm up top, and you can see I'm just going to pour 4 quarts of oil in here now. And we'll consider this a complete job.